the day, Popcap was massive. They were the kings of developing casual games, which back then didn't eat ass and try to cram loot boxes and season passes down our throats. Here are just some names for you. Zuma, Peggle, Bejeweled, Feeding Frenzy, Chuzzle, Plants vs. Zombies, and of course, our main topic today, Insaniquarium. Unfortunately, EA does what they do best, and that is ruin everything. They bought Popcap for basically just Plants vs. Zombies, and let every other damn IP that they had die. This was pretty big back in the day, being downloaded over 20 million times. But nowadays, it seems more or less forgotten. Thank God this game was up on Steam for cheap. Otherwise, there may have been a strong chance that I would have never actually gotten to play it again. I should also mention, this video will be about the deluxe version, as there isn't really much to the web-based version. Let's get into this cute little gem. The goal of Insaniquarium is incredibly simple. Try to feed your fish so they can grow and drop coins. Use these coins to buy 3 pieces of an egg to finish a level. In order to unlock the egg pieces, the player will have to purchase other items in the tank. If the player loses all their fish, either from, forgetting to feed them, aliens killing them, or any other cause, they will suffer a game over. There are 4 tanks total, each with 5 levels. And where is a better place to start than with Tank 1? This is the beginner tank, and it gives off that vibe. It is incredibly simple, and it only takes about 10 minutes or so to complete all 5 levels in it. That's fine though. You gotta have those first few beginner levels to get into the flow of things. Medium guppies will drop silver coins that are worth $15. Meanwhile, big guppies will drop gold coins that are worth $35. These money drops will happen about every 4 to 5 seconds. The fish will turn green when they are hungry, so it's pretty hard to not notice. Eventually, an alien will come and attack the tank. The player must click like mad on the alien and do damage to it to knock it out. The player can also guide where the alien goes by pointing at it and hitting it in the opposite side with the laser. Aliens will drop diamonds when defeated, which will be worth $200. The money that the player collects can be spent on several different things. The quality of the food can be upgraded twice. The first time it turns into a green cylinder thing, then the second upgrade will look like a red or white capsule. This will help fish grow its size quicker, and they will be full longer. The difference is quite noticeable for each upgrade. I get so sick of the horrible beginner fish food. It keeps the fish fed for like 10 seconds at most. The player can also upgrade how many pieces of food can be in the tank at once. Only having 1 piece of food in the tank is honestly pretty awful, and you will let fish die because of it. It can be upgraded to allow up to 10 pieces of food to be in the tank at once. It should also be noted that each food piece dropped will cost $5. The player can also buy a carnivore for $1,000, which should eat small guppies and drop diamonds that are worth $200. The player can also buy upgraded lasers to deal with the alien bosses better, but they're pretty weak in the first tank, so it's not even necessary. After beating every level, the player will unlock a pet. Up to 3 pets can be brought to a level. The pets that are locked in Tank 1 are Stinky the Snail. Stinky will pick up coins that fall into the bottom of the tank. Nico the Clam will open up after the first 34 seconds, then in 40-second intervals after that. Inside of Nico is a pearl that the player can collect, which will yield the player $250. Itchy the Swordfish will do damage to opposing aliens. It's the same amount of damage as the level 1 laser, so don't get your hopes up too much. Prego the Mama Fish will give birth to guppies every so often. She's probably one of the best pets in the game, and she stayed in my rotation for a while. Zorf the Seahorse will shoot out food to keep guppies fed. The food that he shoots out is the upgraded cylinder food. After completing a tank, the player can participate in a minigame to earn shells. Shells can be spent on bonus pets or anything in the virtual tank. I'll get to those later. Let's tackle Tank 2. One thing that I appreciate greatly is the fact that each tank has a different background and musical track. The gameplay is more or less the same for each tank, but each one brings in some new tricks. Tank 2 in particular introduces a couple of new aliens. The first one is called Gus, and unlike Sylvester and Balrog, which are the blue and yellow aliens respectively, Gus can't get hurt by lasers. The fish food is pure poison to him and will deal damage. It'd be in the player's best interest to upgrade both the food quality and quantity. This will ensure that he gets defeated quickly. A robot named Destructor also shows up at some point in this tank. It will shoot missiles at the player's fish. However, if the player can click out the missiles before it hits their fish, they can blow up the missiles and keep their fish safe. A new type of food can be bought here, the Star Potion. It costs $250, and when fed to a full-size guppy, they will turn bright and start dropping stars. Just make sure to feed it to an adult guppy. If younger guppies try to eat it, they will perish. The stars can be collected for $40, but they have another use. A new creature can be bought here, and it replaces the carnivore. The Star Catcher is a cute little blue guy that will run around the bottom of the tank looking for stars. It costs $750, but it'll shoot out diamonds that are worth $200. That's honestly most of the differences in Tank 2. It is still very short and beginner friendly. The egg pieces in 2-5 cost $10,000 each, but it still goes by pretty quickly. The pets that are obtained in this tank include Clyde the Jellyfish, who drift around the tank and collect coins. He is effectively a better Stinky. Vert the Skeleton Fish is a fish who will drop coins just like an adult guppy, but doesn't need food to survive. He gives a lowest amount of money per second out of the money-raising pets, but is super consistent. Rufus the Fiddler Crab will do heavy damage to aliens, but will stay at the bottom of the tank. Its damage output is the equivalent to a damage 6 laser, so the power is at least pretty decent. Meryl the Mermaid will sing a tune that will encourage guppies to drop 3 coins in quick succession. In theory, Meryl is awesome, but she only works on guppies, not ultravores, carnivores, star catchers, etc. The last pet earned at Tank 2 is Wadsworth the Whale. During an alien attack, Wadsworth will swallow all the small and medium guppies and protect them. I guess the big guppies will be left out there to die. That about wraps up Tank 2. Tank 3 introduces 2 new bosses, and they are Ulysses and Psycho Squid. Ulysses is a stone cyclops like a fire energy balls and fish in the tank. These energy balls will decimate anything in their path, making Ulysses much more dangerous than Destructor. These energy balls can at least be deflected back at him, causing major damage. Psycho Squid is a crazy squid that has holding various items, including a machete. During the alien attack, it will turn blue. When shot during this time, it will actually gain health. This is one of the more annoying bosses due to the waiting around when it's blue, as well as having a decent amount of health in general. There are 2 new species that the player can buy to earn them more money. The first one is the Guppy Cruncher. This guy looks like an ass on legs with huge vice grips. As its name implies, this guy will eat guppies. It doesn't swim around the tank, much like the Star Catcher. Instead, this guy will leap when a baby guppy is near him and it's hungry. The beetles are worth $150, but they have a better use. The Beetle Muncher is a bug-eyed blue thing that will eat these beetles. They'll drop pearls that are worth $2,000. I would argue that it's this tank where the game starts to pick up a bit and the levels start to take a decent amount of time to beat. Case in point, on Tank 3-5, one of my adult guppies became a king guppy. If the fish has been alive for over 5 minutes and has been fed after that time frame, they will turn blue and get a crown on top of their head. They will start dropping diamonds instead of gold coins. This makes them amazing money makers. The egg pieces in Tank 3-5 cost $15,000 each. The pets that are earned in Tank 3 are Seymour the Turtle. He will make money fall slower, giving the player more time to click on it. He sounds very useful later in the game. The tanks tend to get overcrowded a bit, but I never really make room for him with a 3-pet limit. Shrapnel the Robot Fish will drop bombs every 18 seconds and be collected for $150. However, if these bombs come into contact with a guppy, it will blow them up and kill them. By pure numbers, Shrapnel is the best money maker pet, but it can be difficult to use in a crowded tank. Back to back, we have some of the best pets unlocked in Tank 3-3 and 3-4. Gumbo the Anglerfish will escort all guppies to safety during an alien attack. Mostly. There are 2 main problems with Gumbo. The first is the fact that he only lures guppies, so ultravores, carnivores, and really anything other than a guppy, they'll just be out in the open during the attack. The other problem with Gumbo is the fact that 2 aliens can spawn in Tank 4, which will confuse Gumbo. He will hang there in limbo, and this can easily lead to a squad wipe. Despite these issues, he is definitely the top 3 pets in the game. Blip the Porpoise might also be a top 3 pet in the game as he has so many uses. The first one is the fact that he'll let the player know when a fish is hungry before they turn green. Blip will also show the player where the aliens spawn, which can give the player a heads up on where to start clicking. Blip will also show the alien's health during an attack, which can help the player know how much longer the alien will be alive. Blip's final use is the fact that he opens up every purchasable option at the beginning of the level. Playing without Blip becomes a real damn hassle after playing with him for so long. Beating Tank 3-5 will grant the player Rhubarb the Hermit Crab, who will pinch fish away from the bottom of the tank. Man, what a letdown after the last 2 amazing unlocks. This can be helpful as the guppy's coins won't disappear immediately, but he is known to be one of the worst pets in the game. I've never really used this guy, and there's very little reason to. His ability just isn't that good, and when one can only bring 3 pets to a level, competition is fierce. He has niche uses, I guess. So on to Tank 4. Tank 4 ramps up that dial another notch. The player doesn't start with guppies in the tank, they start with breeders. Think of breeders as mini pregos. They'll give birth to baby guppies every so often. With that being said, when prego is brought along, the tank can get overpopulated pretty quickly. Carnivores return, but now they can get eaten by ultravores. These ultravores cost $10,000, which is pretty steep. They drop treasure chests that are worth $2,000. Due to their size, they are easily killed off by the aliens. Speaking of which, one new alien is introduced in Tank 4, and that is Bilaterus. The guy is probably the most devastating alien as it decimates any fish that touches any part of its long skeletal body. The player must defeat one head first. After defeating the first head, the opposing head will come into the foreground and the player can start firing away at it. Even though it's only one new alien, Tank 4 can provide a good challenge because multiple aliens can appear in a single attack. This will render Gumbo nearly useless. The player's whole horde of fish can die. This is where I personally started upgrading the laser. The maximum laser does great great damage will allow the player to access rapid fire by holding down the mouse. The aliens die in mere seconds with the full upgrade. In Tank 4-5, the egg pieces cost $99,000 each. So get clicking. The pets are locked in Tank 4R, Nimbus the Manta Ray, who will toss up currency and food when they touch him. This will give the player and fish more time to collect their coins and eat their food respectively. Amp the Electric Eel will zap all the player's guppies except for one, killing them all and turning them all into diamonds. This can be a great way to get money and handle overpopulation, but it can easily lead to a game over if the player is not careful. Gash the Shark will do major damage to aliens, but he will eat a guppy from time to time. I don't use this guy because he eats guppies of all kinds, and that includes the king guppies. That didn't happen this run. It happened years ago when I was a wee lad, but I still have nightmares about it to this day. Every bite does the same amount of damage as a level 8 laser, but I don't think it's worth potentially losing a king guppy or one that is close to that status. Angie the angelfish will revive dead fish of any kind if their body is still visible. If a fish is devoured, Angie won't be able to revive them. However, fish dying to events like Amp's electrical shock, Destructor's missiles, Ulysses' energy shots, and negligence to feed can be saved by Angie, as long as she reaches their bodies before they disappear. Then the player unlocks Cyrax. So now the final boss fight goes down at Tank 5. There are no guppies or other normal fish in this level, only the pets. Cyrax will appear and shoot out all other enemy aliens that the player has run into during the game. In addition to these, he can also send out mini Sylvesters that will perish in a single shot. If the player loses all the pets in the tank, they will suffer a game over. None of the pets attack, give money, or do anything. They just swim around or even just sit there and await death. After shooting Cyrax around 50 times, the player can buy an egg to unlock the last main pet in the game, who is Presto the Tadpole. He can transform into any other pet for a limited amount of time. So what happened to the other pets? Angie the angelfish decided to sit out of the fight so she could resurrect the pets that have fallen in the fight. I thought that she couldn't resurrect fish that had died by being eaten, but it's still a very cute premise. After that, the credits roll, and that is the adventure portion of Insaniquarium. The player can do the bonus adventure, which is more or less the same as the regular adventure, but they get to play the shell collection minigame after every single level. This will be a very good way to rack up those shells and buy those bonus pets. Speaking of which, admittedly, I didn't unlock them for this run, as it takes a lot of grinding and I wanted to get the video out. I remember messing around with these guys in my youth though. Brinkley, the scuba diving elephant, can be bought for 20,000 shells. He goes through a feeding cycle where he rewards the player with stars, diamonds, pearls, and treasure chests. Nostradamus the nose can be bought for 25,000 shells and is very odd. He will drop boogers that can be collected for a grand total of $1. If a hungry fish eats a booger, they will also turn into Nostradamus. The main point of him is the fact that he can sneeze and scare incoming aliens away for a few seconds. Screw this pet. I think this is worse than rhubarb. Stanley, the startlingly small sea serpent, is the third bonus pet and costs 30,000 shells. Stanley attacks aliens by throwing sports balls at them. A wiffle ball, soccer ball, beach ball, or basketball. He has the same attacking power as Rufus. It seems pretty steep for the high shell amount. Then again, all of these bonus pets are pretty pricey for what they are. I love how his appearance changes when a boss appears. Walter the penguin costs 35,000 shells. That is just absurd. When clicked on, Walter will send out a punching glove that will make fish drop their currency. It works on certain pets as well, such as Shrapnel will drop his bomb, and he can recharge Amp. After using his ability 5 times, Walter will fall asleep for 10 seconds. It's a pretty neat and unique ability, but he costs so many damn shells. He will also revert Presto back to his original form if punched. After buying all the bonus pets, the player will have the option to unlock a 4-pet limit per level instead of 3. There are some other things to do besides the adventure mode. Challenge mode have the same objective as a level in story mode. The player will need to get enough money to buy 3 pieces of an egg. However, there are plenty of twists here. Every 4 seconds, each item that is already open will increase its price by 1%. Once an egg piece has been bought, all the other items will return to their normal prices besides the egg pieces themselves. The longer one is in the level, the more aliens will come out and attack the player at once. The rewards for doing these can be pretty insane though. The player will be given shells, and for the first 8 times per tank, a story for pets and aliens. After getting all tank-specific stories, which means doing the 4 tanks 8 times each, they'll unlock an additional story for the final boss, which they will need to do another challenge for. Man, that means one needs to beat the challenge 33 times to get all the stories. If the player already has the silver trophy, which the player needs to unlock every bonus pet and get both pet upgrades, they'll get the gold trophy. Again, this requires a lot of grinding, and I didn't want to put the time in for it. This game has way more unlocks than I remember. Time trial mode will task the player by seeing how much money they can earn in the time limit. There are no egg pieces to buy. Instead, the player can buy additional pets to help with the cause. The egg price will keep doubling until it gets to $99,999. At the end of the time trial, 5% of the money earned will be transformed into shells. Tank 1 will give the player 5 minutes. Meanwhile, tanks 2 through 4 will give the player 10 minutes. This is fun to mess around with every once in a while. Lastly, the virtual tank is a chill place to hang out. The player can spend their shells to buy fish and take care of them. The fish will usually pay the player back in shells over time. New fish will be on display and can be bought every single day. Some of them will be weird ones, like different types of balls that Stanley throws, or even some bosses. This can also be used as a screensaver, where the player can get shells when they are away. The player can also bring in some pets in here and they can help them collect shells. That's about it for the game modes. So now it's time to talk about what I love about the game. The pets are a great deal of fun, and I love how the developers made sure that a lot of them have synergy together. Like Amp can zap guppies to get diamonds, and Angie can revive them. Meryl can sing to encourage the fish to drop coins, while Seymour can slow them down, while Clyde can drift around the tank to collect them all. Prego can try to keep the tank populated with babies, while Gash eats them in exchange for strong alien damage. Prego can supply the tank with babies, while Zorf can feed them all. One can pick both Gumbo and Wadsworth for maximum guppy protection during alien attacks. If one wants maximum money quickly, they can deploy Shrapnel, Nico, and Vert. One can decide to go Rufus, Itchy, and Gash for maximum alien damage, even though it's not exactly recommended. Also, Presto is just adorable and is an amazing final pet. The music in this game is an absolute banger. I could hum these tracks all day long. As mentioned before, each tank has a different musical track, which is greatly appreciated. The graphics are also pretty clean and nice. Nothing too mind-blowing, but it's a simple style that has aged very well. I like how the adventure doesn't overstay its welcome either. I think that the 4 tanks and the number of pet allies that they decided on were very good choices. Doesn't feel like a lot of padding. The game is meant to be a cute little thing to knock out in a couple of days. It even has the big golden trophy for the completionist out there if they want to complete everything. With its current price tag of $5 on Steam, it's very hard to pass up. That's not to mention it goes on sale frequently, usually dropping to $1 or $1.25. There are a few negatives. With this game being so old and getting no development support in years, the resolution is booty cheeks. The resolution is, drumroll, 640 by 840. Jesus, that hurts to even say. I'm sure you can tell just by looking at the game clips. The art itself is pretty, but I wish the game was smoother looking. Don't even get me started when someone sends me a message or hops online on Steam. So much of the screen gets covered by notifications, it's insane. The game itself is also pretty simple, but even that is hard to fault when it is so cheap. I also should know that my hand now hates me after playing this game again. There is so much clicking, it's insane. You gotta get every one of those coins before they disappear, man. I'm so happy I found this gem on Steam. There really was a decent chance that this game would be a distant memory if it wasn't. The game brought me back to my childhood when I rushed to my grandma's computer to play it. The gameplay itself is so addicting. The game might be a bit simple and short, but for $5, I can't complain. I'll give Insaniquarium Deluxe a 5 out of 7. It's a cute little game that provided me with a good few hours of fun.